Multiply with reducing. Quincy is in physical therapy to help regain movement that was lost due to a stroke. Quincy has attended 4/10 of her visits. She has spent 30 out of 60 minutes of this time working on full assisted range of motion exercises. What is the current fraction of time that Quincy has spent working on range of motion? Reduce your answer. So, there are two different methods that we can use to answer this question. The first method, for the first way, we will use multiplication rules for fractions and multiply the numerators and denominators. So we multiply 4 times 30 then for our numerator, like this. So So 4 times 30 is 120. 10 times 60 is 600. Now we notice that 120 and 600 can be reduced by 2 because they're both even numbers. So now we get 120 divided by 2, which is equal to 60. Now 600 divided by 2 is 300. Now we can divide by 2 again, as these are both even again. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. 300 divided by 2 is 150. Let's divide by 2 one more time. So now we divide 30 divided by 2, which is 15. And 150 divided by 2 is 75. So let's now just bring this number down below. So now we're going to want to divide by 5 because both answers are not even and they end in 5. So 15 divided by 5 is 3. And now 75 divided by 5 is 15. So now we have 3 and 15, which we know that 15 is a multiple of 3 because 3 times 5 is 15. So let us both divide the top and the bottom by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is equal to 1. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So we have the answer of 1/5. So let us now go to the second method. So method 2. In the second method, we use prime factorization to divide out the numbers. So we will write 4/10 to look like this now, which is 2 times 2, and then 10 is 2 times 5. And then we will rewrite 30 over 60. So 30 becomes now 2 times 3 times 5. And if you're unsure how this kind of works, remember we can do our factor tree here too. So 30, so 2, which then becomes 15. We'll circle the 2 because it's a prime number. 15 now becomes 3 and 5. And then for 60, we can just think of it as one more of these. One more branch, essentially. Because 2 times 30 is equal to 60, which we've already done the 30 here. So we can just kind of copy. So 2, now 15, 3, and 5. So 60 now becomes 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. So now we will combine both fractions, but we're going to multiply all these numbers on the numerator together and all the numbers on the denominator together. So let us do this. 1. So now we have, from the 4, we're going to grab the 2 times 2 Then from the 30, we're going to grab this one, times 2 times 3 times 5. Then we're going to grab our denominator numbers. So we have 2 times 5. Then we're going to go to the 60. We're going to grab the 2, 2, 3, 5. And now we can divide out the numbers that we found on the top and on the bottom. So we notice that we have 3 2's on the top and 3 2's on the bottom. So we're going to cross out all of these because 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. And now we notice we have 1 3 here. So we're going to cross out both on the top and the bottom. And now we have 1 5 and 1 5 here. So let's cross these out as well. So as you can see on the top, we are actually just left with the number 1 because anything divided by itself is equal to 1. So the 1 will still stay on the top. And now on the bottom, we have 5 that just left over, which is 1/5. Now you notice that both these methods got us to 1/5, but we used 2 different methods to get there. So as a reminder of what we did, we multiplied and then we divided out a common factor from the numerator and the denominator. So when all the numbers are divided out in the numerator or in the denominator, place a 1 in that spot, like we did on this last one right here. And even though you have learned 2 methods for reducing, you can choose to use the one that you prefer. So let's go ahead and look at another example. Example 2. Roman recently received a prosthetic leg. In August, he went to physical therapy and 4 out of the 20 times for ambulation exercises. However, in September, Roman only went to 6/8 of the time that he went in August. What is the amount of time that Roman went to physical therapy for ambulation exercises in September? And we're going to reduce this fraction. And for this example, we're going to go ahead and use the prime factorization method for reducing. So we're going to begin by rewriting our fraction as, for the 4 over 20, so it becomes 2 times 2, and then the 20 becomes 2 times 2 times 5. Then our second fraction becomes 2 times 3, and now 8 becomes 2 times 2 times 2. So now we're going to combine all the numerators together and then all the denominators together. So this becomes 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, as we grabbed from here and here. Then we're going to pull our denominator and write it below. So we have 2 times 2 times 5 times 2 times 2 times 2. So now we can divide out the common factors. So we begin by dividing out the 3 2's. So we have 3 2's here, and then 3 2's on the bottom. We'll cross all these out. Now we notice that we don't have any more common factors. So we can combine the numbers in the denominator back together, as we can just leave the 3 on the top by itself. So we have 3 on the top divided by 20. This is our final answer. So remember, there are 2 methods for reducing multiplication problems for fractions. Both methods ask you to divide out the common factors. You can choose whichever method that you prefer.